whether it's Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia or Singapore, there is nothing quite like Southeast Asian football. Welcome to Jakarta Casual Weekly, bringing you the best football news and action in the region every week. Right, without further ado, let's get started. We'll start with Indonesia, mainly because I live there, so there's an international friendly organised. Can you believe it? Indonesia's national team actually get to play a game of football. They're playing against the under-23 team. It's happening on Thursday in Solo. Should be a big crowd for that. Anyway, the Solo fans are brilliant. They're mental. Right. Much of the rest of the talk about Indonesia really is gossip. What's going on? Who's going where? Who's going to do what? And what have you? Deltas have appointed Jörg Steinbrunner as a new coach. Jörg, of course, was previously with Medan Chiefs, and before that, he's in Singapore with Etoile, Sengkampugan, and Woodlands Wellington. He's confirmed. He's in place now. Other jobs tend to be more up in the air. Robert Alberts has been linked with the Persija job. Alberts, of course, now in Malaysia, last I heard with Sarawak, but before that he was with Arema, and he led Arema to win the title here in Indonesia. So he's got a bit of experience. Will Persija get him? I do know other names are in the hunt for the Persija job as well. I also know that they're very, very keen to appoint a foreign coach. So will it be Alberts? That remains to be seen. There's not really much concrete to say about football in Indonesia at the moment. They're still waiting on the format for the league, which was supposed to start on the 8th of October. Bit of controversy at the moment, just for a change. Can you believe that? There's, people are now saying, well, why should the LPI teams, the teams from the Liga Premier Indonesia, be treated the same as the teams from the Indonesia Super League and Divisi Utama? When, basically they've come from nowhere. They're saying, look at me, we want to place at the big table in Indonesian football. And, if, for example, Celtic were to join the English Premier League, the teams like Aldershot, Hartlepool, Barnsley, all those teams down in the lower divisions would say, hold on a minute, what's the point of having a pyramid system if someone can come along with a bit of money and big crowds and say, let me in, we deserve to be on the top table, and it's spot on. So this is something that needs to be sorted out. They need to decide how they're going to do this, how they're going to absorb the LPI teams into the pyramid setup. But certainly it doesn't seem right that Tangerang Wolves, for example, can go straight into the top league while Persikota or Persita Tangerang stay down below. But there's a long way to go with this, and much to be decided. I do know that there's talks of various teams talking about merging. But again, between now and October, there's going to be a lot of talk, so we'll just try to minimise that, I think, for the time being. Malaysia now, looking at Malaysia and following on from their disappointing World Cup exit against Singapore. All eyes are going to be focused on the Malaysia Cup that's going to start in September. Before then, there's a small amount of a few friendlies going on, and the Harimau Muda, which is the Malaysian under-23 team, are currently in Central Asia, bloody hell, Central Europe. Now, for the football romantics out there, and I'm one of them, I'm afraid, last week they played Honved, or maybe 2 weeks ago actually, they played Honved from Hungary, famous old team they are. Used to be one of the best teams in the world, supposedly, back in the 1950s, before they had colour TV and before I was born. Anyway, Honved played Harimau Muda. Honved won that game 4-1. Other friendlies that have been penciled in, according to the excellent Malaysia Football Demos blog, apparently, is Geylang are going to play Johor this weekend on Friday. And apparently Kelantan will travel north of the border into Thailand to play a friendly against Songkhla towards the end of the month. Will they? Won't they? I don't know. That remains to be seen. So the Malaysia Cup starts in September. The other great stuff about Malaysia at the moment is the gossip. Sime Derby are not really the biggest club in the world. They're no relation to Steve Derby. Sime is not short for Simon. Sime Derby is a corporate team in Malaysia, privately owned, not funded by the state government or state football associations. They'd be linked with rather ambitiously, they've been linked with Ahmed Bustami, who plays for Arema in Indonesia, and with Boaz Salasa, who plays for Persipura in Indonesia. Ahmed with Arema plays in front of 25,000-30,000 every week. Sime Darby will probably get a few people coming down from the office to watch the game, only those who work late though. Is it going to happen, or is it just paper talk? Who knows? I mean, but it doesn't seem like a switch that makes sense for either player, to be honest with you. For Sime Darby, yes, it does, due to try and attract some big names. But if you want big names, maybe look closer to home. Safi Salih, fantastically, was linked with FC Köln from the Bundesliga. That was, get this, and Badrul Bakhtir was linked with Wigan in the Premier League. And I don't know, I think it's fantasy time in Malaysia. Someone's playing fantasy football and just over that, or this. They're on some pretty serious shit at the moment, but that sound, all four of those possible moves sound a bit fantastic. Anyway, that'll do for Malaysia for the time being. Right, we've reached the halfway point in our Jakarta Casual Weekly, and now a word from our sponsors. Drum roll. Have you tried the Jakarta Casual t-shirts yet? Have you seen them anywhere? I'll tell you what, they are quality clobber made out of the best Indonesian materials. Check out the Casual store for more details and be the first kid on your block to wear a casual t-shirt. And now we're into Singapore for Singapore football fans. Sorry, I'm not going to mention Liverpool or Man United for fans of Singapore football, the few that are still remaining. The Singapore Cup is a focus of attention at the moment, and what a game there was last night at Tampines Stadium when they hosted Home United. The visitors home took the lead through Frederick Mendy, then Alex Duric made it 1-1, Mendy made it 2-1, Duric made it 2-2. Duric then made it 3-2, completing his hat-trick, before a last-minute equaliser by Chu Lee, who is the Singapore national team striker, made it 3-3 and meant that going into the second leg later on this week, I guess with away goals counting double, Home United got a slight advantage, but it sounds like a really good game, and to be honest with you, I expected nothing less. Singapore football, the Singapore League this year has been one of the most, if not the most exciting in Southeast Asia. It's a shame no one else thinks that, only me, but if you want goals, if you want uncertainty, if you want excitement, if you want mistakes, if you want comedy with decisions by referees, and if you want fly-kicking strikers and defenders falling all over the place, you can't really beat the S-League. It's a lot of fun, and it's great entertainment. There's bloody good football thrown in there as well. So Tampines 3, Home United 3 in the big game last night. In the other game, it was Albirex Niigata played SAF Safsa, and that ended 0-0. Both games got red cards. Tonight is Hougang United taking on Okta United. No, sorry, tomorrow night is Hougang United against Okta. Okta come from Myanmar, coached by Sivaji, who's of course a familiar face to Singapore football fans. Well, the ones who don't support Liverpool, Man United, that is. And in the other game on Wednesday, it's Gombak United playing Etoile, and then the second leg of the fixtures continue for the rest of the week. So by next week, we should have an idea of what teams are going to be in the semi-finals of the Singapore Cup. And finally, Cyril, we're up in Thailand, where it's the rainy season at the moment, but it's the only country that's got any league football going on as well. Here's some results for you from the Thai Premier League. Sisaket Army United, Sisaket 2, Army United 1. Chonburi 1, Buriram PEA 1-1. That was the top of the table clash. Buriram have only lost one game all season. Everyone knows they're going to win the league. They were going to win the league before the season even bloody well started, so it's making a mockery of the whole thing, but at least Chonburi weren't beaten. Chonburi is second place. They're about, let's do some quick mathematics, 15 times 3 is 45, 49. And there's about 7 points between the two of them. With not long left in the season before to go. Not finished in December. Becatero against Samut Songkram, it was 0-0. Gutted I missed that one. Police United lost 1-0 at home to the Navy. Chiang Rai 1, Sriracha 1. Konkan against TTM Pichit 2-2. Pati United 2, TOT 1. Mongtong United against Osotspar was called off. It was pissing down apparently. Bangkok Glass beat Thai Port 2-1, which I do like the Bangkok Glass Bunnies though. So where does that leave the table? The table it's left like this, pretty much as it was. Buriram PEA are top by 7 points. Chonburi are second. Muangthong United are just behind Chonburi. Bangkok Glass I think are fourth. Thailand of course are going to play Singapore on the 24th of August in an international friendly. Straight after that, Thailand go to Australia for their first World Cup qualifier. Singapore will be playing in China. A transport story I've heard about locally. I've not seen it anywhere else yet, so maybe if anybody from Thailand is watching or listening to this, they might have an idea. Christian Lopez is moving to Sriracha. Lopez previously played for Deltras and Pelita Jaya, and well, let's just leave it at that, shall we? He wasn't really the best player we had in Indonesia, but he may well be in Sriracha now up in Thailand. That's it for Thailand. Alright, that's about it. I think that brings us to the end of our first ever Jakarta Casual Weekly. I hope you liked it. I hope you thought it was alright. I hope you thought it was worth 10 minutes of your time. Plus download, of course. If you've got any comments, thoughts or ideas or anything we can do to improve it, or you'd like to see on the weekly show, then just drop us an email, jakartacasual@yahoo.com. jakartacasual@yahoo.com. Next week, hopefully I'll get a few more photographs sorted out. Until then, I think that is your bloody lot.